Hi, y'all, and welcome to the first podcast from Dialed. We're really excited to kick things off and really start to share our message with all of you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hunter Lasco. I played 5 years of collegiate baseball. Yes, five, one too many, I know. Today I'm here to talk to you about what exactly we do here at Dialed. We've been getting a lot of questions and people asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? And for us, it took a long time to figure out just exactly the best way to go about talking to you and telling you what our messages was. And the way we've decided to do it is we've decided to go the route of podcasting. So in order for me to tell you what Dialed is properly, first I need to give you a little bit of a backstory about who I am. So like I said, my name's Hunter Lasco, and I played collegiate level baseball, and I found that collegiate level baseball and baseball in general, being an athlete and moving up in the world, was a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I went to the College of Southern Nevada right out of high school. They're a junior college based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I found that immediately I was not ready. I was not ready for college baseball. I was not ready for what it would take to be successful in college baseball. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea the work ethic, the amount of talent that was down there. I really was clueless. I found myself immediately struggling. First week, first 2 weeks, struggled with everybody who was there. They're much bigger and much stronger than me, and a lot of them were much smarter. I found this to be so taxing. The day in the life it's a full-time job, and I had no idea that it was going to be like that. I thought I was just going to be like high school again, except for the competition was going to be better, but I had no idea what to expect. Immediately, I started missing school a lot. I found myself struggling with homework and struggling on the field and not willing to ask for help. And just after my first semester down there the fall, I ended up failing out of school, failing out of classes. I couldn't do it. And after failing out, I decided to work as an oil change technician at Jiffy Lube for about a year. And as much as I loved that job and as much as I learned from it, it was very difficult for me, and I didn't find it to be too fulfilling. And about after that year, I realized, I asked myself, hey, Hunter, what do you desire most? And what I desired most was almost to get back at myself and prove to myself that I could be a successful student athlete, because it was what I knew I wanted to do, but I just, thought that I wasn't ever going to be able to do it. So I was terrified that I would never make it, and I was terrified, and I let that hold me back for an entire year. After that year, I decided to reach out to other schools, and I finally reached out to a place called Utah State University Eastern, which is based out of Price, Utah. And when I went down there, these fears they kicked me in the butt a little bit, and I decided to really start working hard. And what I thought was working hard wasn't really the proper way of working hard. I was doing 2 practices a day on top of 2 gym sessions a day and spending, 4 to 5 hours in the gym trying to get super strong. I was completely studying on my own. I wasn't asking for help. And while I had a lot of progress with that, I got a lot stronger and my grades did improve. I found that it didn't happen the way that I thought it would happen. I got a little bit better in all aspects, but I never reached that full potential that I totally thought that I was capable of having after working that hard. And as the year went on and I started sacrificing time with friends and with people and talking with my family and things like that, I totally never reached the potential that I was capable of. I was spending too much time alone, and I never really learned real lessons, and I was always blaming other people for the results that I was getting. And by the end of the year, yes, I had better grades, but like barely enough just to stay eligible, and I lost my position to a kid who was younger and better. And a big problem that I had with that was I tried to blame favoritism and didn't take it upon myself to really learn that, you weren't doing things the proper way. You were too stubborn, and it didn't turn out the way that you wanted. And after that happened, it really kind of it really kind of kicked me. It was kind of like kicking me while I was down. And that was the same year that COVID hit, and we lost, that entire season. And it was even worse because I had spent a full year uh, grinding and drilling and absolutely destroying myself to not only be, put in the second string category, but to also have my entire season taken away from me and all that hard work. And this really brought the villain out of me. And when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, I got all crazy. I mean, I started losing all my confidence. I started losing all my confidence in everything that I was capable of. I was working so hard and having so little results that I thought that it was just me and I was never going to be able to reach the goals that I needed to reach. And I thought that it was just not a part of my legacy to be a student athlete. And luckily, somehow out of that, I decided to reach out to different coaches where my time at Utah State Eastern was pretty much run its course. They had made decisions on which direction they wanted to go, so I made the decision to try and find somewhere else to go play. And while looking for other schools, I knew that if I failed one more time, that was it. I was too old and I wasn't going in the right direction, and I knew that I had one more chance. I had one more chance to be a successful student athlete, which I had originally gone out and set out for. And I finally found a coach that was willing to take a chance on me, Jeff Brabant, up at the School of Miles, Montana. And I'm grateful for him because going up there changed my whole life. Upon getting up there, the coaches sat down with me, and they first thing they talked to me about was how the team functions and why the team was so successful, because they were a very, very successful team. And all he would talk to me about is how the team gets along. He was talking to me about how everybody does everything together. They study together, they work together, they train together, and they do everything like that. And so for me, a light bulb kind of clicked in my head, and I realized that I hadn't been going around things, like I hadn't been approaching things the right way, and that I had been doing things wrong. And it wasn't that I wasn't capable, it was just that I set my sights in the wrong areas, and I had been doing it for so long that I was too stubborn to try and make a change. So I created a strategy. And what was my strategy? Well, I decided that I was going to spend time during study hall with people who typically had better grades, and I was just going to watch. I wasn't going to ask them for help per se, but just kind of watch what they do. What do their schedules look like? What do they write in their planners? How much time are they spending on their studies, and how much time are they spending in the libraries? How are they working? And what I found was when I started doing this, it just rubbed off on me. Like it just happened. It was almost embarrassing for me to go into the library with these guys and be unprepared while they were completely prepared. And so that really brought me a ton of success with my academics. Just that small, simple change that I was not willing to do so long ago. And I ended up doing the same thing with baseball. I started hanging out with the better outfielders and the stronger lifters and seeing, what are they doing that is making them so successful? What are their rest times? Are they tracking their lifts? Are they counting how many calories they're eating, how much protein they're putting in their body? What are they doing? And being with them just did the same thing. I started just adapting these healthy things. But not only that, but I was also able to learn from their mistakes. And that was the biggest thing I learned was our short time as college athletes and our short time as athletes as a whole. There's not enough time to live every single lesson on your own. You have to learn from others. You have to learn what not to do from others and what to do from others. Because if you try to go about it like I was at Utah State Eastern, you try to learn every failure and every single lesson on your own, you're never going to make it. There's just not enough time for you to do that. And that was a part of my strategy, was to learn from others' mistakes and learn from others' successes. And that was one of the biggest things that helped me. And doing those things and approaching that strategy and doing exactly what I set my goals out and my sights out to do, I had tremendous amounts of success. After my first semester, my GPA was close to doubling. I mean, it was pretty low to begin with, so doubling wasn't really all that hard. But not only that, but I also gained a position as a starting player. And just in the first semester of changing just a little bit of my strategy, I had already almost met my goals. I was close, but I was on the right track. For the first time in my career, I was finally on the right track. And by the end of the second semester and by the end of the baseball season, I had achieved academic all honors as well as a starting position on a team that ended up winning a super regional title. We were a championship team. We were really, really incredible. And even more so than that, the relationships that I made with people up there were even stronger. You know, people who are going to be at my wedding and people that I'm going to talk to for the rest of my life. And after 4 years of really, really struggling and going through hard things, even with COVID 19, things like that, I finally had figured out a way to be a successful student athlete. And the change that came from that was once I reached that goal, I actually found myself wanting to complete a different goal. And that new goal was to teach others about this, teach others about the strategies that I went through, and to help other athletes understand that yes, it is tough, but there is a way, and it comes by trusting the process, and it comes in so many different ways, and you have to find a way that is good for you, and that you're not alone with the emotional stresses, you know, the things like depression and anxiety and just the lack of confidence and feeling like you're never good enough. I mean, it comes with the sport, and you need to teach yourself and you need to focus on yourself and learn how to overcome those things. And we are here to show you that that is possible. And that's what we do here at Dialed Athlete. We're going to be doing podcasts with athletes, talking to athletes. This isn't coaches who are telling you know what it takes, because you can find that anywhere. But these are athletes who are in it or who have been through it, who are talking to you about through these things. And we feel like that this could be so extremely vital for some people, especially the younger guys who are making the transition from little league to high school. What do you need to expect in high school, or high school up until the collegiate level for whatever sport you play? And it's going to be so crucial, and it's going to be great. And I'm really excited to show you guys and have you listen to our message and see the changes that we can make for some athletes. So we appreciate all the love and support, and it's been so incredible for us. And we're really, really excited to share this message with the rest of the world, and we cannot wait to get started. So thank you again from us here at Dialed, and we'll see you in the next one.